But as I mentioned, over the weekend, I watched lots of replays of lots of classic games. Michael Jordan scoring 69, a career high against the Cavaliers, and Michael Jordan scoring 54 against the Knicks in a playoff game in 1993. And I also forced myself to sit through a replay of the most painful game I ever watched. And that was Game 6 of the 2013 NBA Finals. You know what happened at the end of the game. And near the end of that replay, I tweeted this. Yeah, and it generated what I tweeted, 2.3 million impressions, which for me is a whole lot on Twitter. I tweeted, remember, if Ray Allen hadn't followed a LeBrick 3 to tie with the greatest clutch shot in NBA history, LeBron would now be 2-7 in the NBA Finals. 2-7 with an exclamation point. And he's the GOAT with 3 question marks? Stop it. So let's start it right here, right now. LeBron, let's go to Shannon Sharpe. How can you continue to try to convince me that LeBron is the GOAT?
It's easy. Because, Skip, here's the thing, is that when you judge great players and you say you give them the highest, you judge them the harshest. And you said they deserve to be judged the harshest because they're the best players, the greatest players in particular sport. What I don't understand is like when LeBron James struggle and wins, Michael Jordan, Tom Brady struggles and win, you mention the win. But LeBron struggles and win, all you mention is the struggle. You don't mention what he overcame. All you do is harp. Ray Allen saved his legacy. But I never hear you say it, that Adam Vinatieri and Malcolm Butler saved Tom Brady's legacy. I never heard you say John Paxson, and Steve Kerr saved Michael Jordan's legacy. It's always those guys. You failed to mention that in that Game 6, they started the fourth quarter down by 10 points. LeBron James scored 4 fewer points by himself than the entire San Antonio Spurs. He scored 16. They scored 20. They erased that 10-point deficit. Get it to overtime. He took the game over. But all you talk about is the shot. The shot would have been a moot point had LeBron James not been spectacular in the fourth quarter. But we won't mention that. Come to Game 7. Still now, Game 6 didn't win them that. They still had to win another game. In Game 7, he was 37-12-7, 37-12-8, if I'm not mistaken. Do you realize Ray Allen did not score a point in Game 7? Chris Bosh did not score a point in Game 7. Mike Miller, who started Game 7, did not score a point. You don't mention that. All you talk about is, well, if Ray Allen hadn't hit the shot, Skip, that's what having teammates is about. If LeBron wanted to be an individual guy, he'd have played golf or he'd have played tennis because Tiger doesn't have teammates. Serena doesn't have teammates. But in a team-oriented sport, a teammate doing his job is not saving someone's legacy. Oh, my bad. It is if your name is LeBron James. Skip, at some point in time, you got to stop this. All we do, Michael Jordan did go to the Wizards at the end of his career, but you want to disregard that. I want to know one thing, and I want to get you on the record. Whatever happens with Tom Brady this year, is that going to be on his career? Is that on his resume, or are we disregarding it? I just need to know right now.
Yes, it's on his resume. We'll talk about that in a moment.
Okay, so that's on his resume, but the last 2 years of the Wizards isn't on Michael Jordan's resume. We're not going to talk about the 2 times that he took off. Skip, you know, to go to back-to-back finals, look at the toll that it took on the Golden State Warriors. They went to 5 straight. Can you imagine Michael trying to go to 6 straight, 8 straight, 9, 10 straight? You don't believe it would have taken a toll on him? Absolutely. And before I turn it over to you, Skip, I just want you to know, Michael Jordan is 6-0. Can't take that from him, nor would I attempt to. But I want to know, of the 6 teams that he beat, of the top 20 NBA Finals teams, where do they rank? And I tell you what I'll do. I'll take the 16, 17, and 17, 18 Golden State Warriors. I'll take the 07 Spurs. And I guarantee you, they'll be top 10 finals teams in the history, and nobody Jordan team beat will make the top 10. Therein lies the rub. You try to be slick, Skip Bayless.
Okay.
He beat the Knicks. Stop it.
My turn. Thank you very much. And I am slick, and I'm about to get slicker right here, right now. Let's start with all the big picture of this. Obviously, Michael Jordan, as you said, 6-0 in the finals with 6 finals MVPs. Michael Jordan won 10 scoring titles to 1 for LeBron James. Michael Jordan won the steals title 3 times. He led the league in steals 3 times to 0 for LeBron. Michael Jordan made first-team all-defense 9 times to LeBron 6. And Michael Jordan was a defensive player of the year, something LeBron has never done. Michael Jordan still 5 MVPs to 4 for LeBron. That could change if LeBron wins this year's. But as I keep pointing out to you, Michael Jordan played 82 games 9 times. LeBron finally played 82 a couple of years back. Michael Jordan played 80-plus games 11 or more times to LeBron's 3. So it's just boom, 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 all the way down to all the epic failures then that LeBron suffered that Michael never suffered. And let's go back, please, if we shall. No, you know what I'm going to do before I get to that Game 6? I told you I did watch the 69-point salvo against Cleveland by Michael Jordan and the 54 in the playoff game. And it was the Knicks, and that was football being played by Pat Riley's Knicks, and he managed 54 against them. You know what jumped out at me, Mr. Sharpe, in those games? That Michael Jordan developed a weapon that LeBron has never had. That's the mid-range pull-up jump shot. It can be a fadeaway or just a hanging J where he just hung in the air because we know Michael could leap. And he hung and just sort of sized it up, squared it up, and ripped it. That's the shot that he made, obviously, in Game 6 against Utah to win his last championship, a game I saw from courtside at Utah. But in the 69-point game, it wasn't a lot of attack the basket. It was mid-range jump shots. Boom, 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 boom. They just couldn't stop him because nobody could stop that. Now we're starting to see Kawhi Leonard develop just the same weapon. But LeBron's never had a mid-range jumper like that, which obviously elevates Michael above LeBron. But let's go back, shall we, to that Game 6. In fact, I watched the end of it again just this morning. I'm up here in my loft, and I can see my treadmill. It's only about 20 feet over there. And I was on my treadmill watching my TV, and I looked back at Game 6 at the end of it just to refresh my pained memory over what happened. And would you believe that at the end of that game, LeBron turned it over badly, uncharacteristically, an unforced error with 40 seconds left in the game, and then with 20 seconds left in the game, and then with about 15 seconds left in the game, he shoots an air ball 3, and they get it back on the offensive rebound, which he was lucky to do. Danny Green takes off cherry picking, thinking he's going to get a bunny layup. Mike Miller kicks it back to LeBron, and to LeBron's credit, on a second try, he made a 3 there, which cut the lead to 2. Then Kawhi, as we all know, made 1 free throw, but he actually missed the first free throw.
What? Michael Jordan missed a free throw?
So, yeah. No, Kawhi Leonard missed a free throw, but that's a whole nother. He's a baby. Then
he's the closest to Michael Jordan.
I'm going to give him that. Yeah, I got it. He is the closest jump shooter we've seen to Michael Jordan, although Kobe was right in that ballpark also. So then it comes down to the wire, and LeBron James does completely brick a 3, long rebound out to Chris Bosh, who kicks in the corner to a Ray Allen. And just for the record, Ray Allen in that game had so far scored 2 total points. He had missed 2 threes. He was 0 of 2 from 3. And so it's one shot for LeBron's quote-unquote NBA Finals life, and he rips it from the corner to send it to overtime. Remember what had happened just the year before, well, it's 2 years before, 2011. LeBron had suffered the all-time meltdown in an NBA Finals against the Dallas Mavericks. I've never seen anything like it. Up 2 games to 1, and the chosen one became the frozen one in games 4, 5, and 6. Never seen a shrinkage like that from a superstar, a complete collapse the way we saw it from LeBron James. So now we go back to all the other epic meltdowns. I won't even mention that the Spurs swept him because that happened to Jordan early in his career to great teams also. But remember what happened after he hit the shot around the world? No.
Yes,
but again, LeBron was going through the Eastern Conference. I mean, it's just like a cakewalk. So we cakewalked through the East. I give you that. And yet we go back to that year against the Magic when he hit the shot heard around the world in Game 2. Remember that? And then they actually went up 2-1, and then they fell apart again, right on schedule. LeBron shrank, and they lost games 4, 5, and 6 to the Magic. And that was when it was supposed to be LeBron versus Kobe in the finals. And then remember last go-round in the first time around in Cleveland, what happened? The owner ended up accusing LeBron James of quitting in that it was the conference semifinal against Boston, games 4, 5, and 6, the dreaded games. LeBron just disappeared in those games leading up to the meltdown in the first go-around with the Heat. Then the Ray Allen shot saved him. Then the Spurs blew LeBron off the floor by a record finals margin in 2014. And then, remember, he hit the wall in 2015. He had the Golden State Warriors down before they were the Warriors. It's 2-1 with Game 4 in LeBron's house. In LeBron's house, you've got them 2-1. You could go up 3-1, and Iggy happened. Iggy inserted into the starting lineup. He outplayed LeBron in Game 4 in LeBron's house, and the rest is finals history because LeBron was history. And I will never forget and never let LeBron get away with 2018. Don't remember, 2018, Game 1 at Oracle. LeBron had one of the greatest games of his life, had a shot, a mid-range jump shot on Steph Curry that could have won the game at the end of the game, and he turns it down to pass the basketball. What? Really? You did that? And I get it. JR had the mental glitch and blunder, but then LeBron just quit on his team. He sat 5 seats over from his team before overtime and wouldn't shoot. He went into a big pout mode in overtime of that game and wouldn't shoot for the first 2.5 minutes, and they lost that game by 7. I just gave you a long list of epic meltdowns. You can't show me one from Michael Jordan. Not an epic meltdown like all those, the quit game. There are 2 quit games, actually. Come on, Shannon.
Here's the thing, though. If you look at LeBron, LeBron is 12 times first-team All-NBA. Michael Jordan has made it 11 times. LeBron has done it 11 consecutive times. So he's about to be 13 times because he has 12 on his resume. He will be first-team All-NBA this year, which will be 13, which has blown away everybody. He's been All-NBA 15 of the 16 seasons he's been in the NBA. Remind you, Skip, the year that he led the league in scoring, he was not first-team All-NBA. Think about this. A guy that's passed first is the 3rd all-time leading scorer. A guy that scored first is the 5th all-time leading scorer. Let that sink in for just a second. Now, you see, Skip, what you always try to do, you always try to say, well, if you're undefeated in the finals, that's the GOAT. Well, how does Tom Brady get to be the GOAT? He's lost 3 times in the finals. And 2 of those times, and even 2 of the times that he won, he wasn't the MVP. Huh? Julian Edelman. Is Julian Edelman going to the Hall of Fame? No. Is Branch. Is he going to the Hall of Deion Branch? Is he going to the Hall of Fame? No. So 2 other guys won the Super Bowl MVP on his watch. Eli Manning. You have little to no respect for the Eli Manning. Now, you understand the family, what the lineage is, and that's football royalty. He took down Tom Brady. Nick Foles lost his job to Gardner Minshew, the guy that has a mullet and a stash. Really, Skip? And you want to lecture me about LeBron? Skip, see, in other words, what you're telling me, it would have been better for LeBron to fail before the finals because we know Jordan had a lot of epic fails before the finals. You remember that double nickel, that 63-point game he had against the Celtics, Skip? That should have never happened. You know why? Because he missed the final shot in regulation, and he missed it again in overtime. But you don't mention that. Everybody talks about, oh, look at Michael, what he did. You talk about that, but why couldn't he beat the big 3 Celtics? You tell me GOAT players are supposed to topple great teams. Michael Jordan is the GOAT. He should be able to beat the big 3 Celtics. He was supposed to be able to take down. Why couldn't he get past the Pistons? Why? Why must they got old? Why must they started breaking that team up before he could get past? I don't want to hear anything about no Jordan rules. Jordan shouldn't have rules. God doesn't have rules. He took time off on the 7th day because he wanted to rest. He worked all continuously for 6 days. So that's what you told me Jordan was. So I don't understand that, Skip. So in other words, if LeBron loses in the first round, we know Michael knows a lot about that. He's lost a lot in the first round, and not make it to the finals, he'd have been judged more favorably than losing in the finals? Tell me the guy, Skip, before I let you turn it back over to you. Tell me the guy that Jordan beat in the finals that's better than Kevin Durant, that's better than Tim Duncan, that's better than Steph Curry. I just know to know one guy that's better than those 3 guys that he beat.
Okay, I want to point out to our faithful viewers that Shannon Sharpe just had to reach for the name Gardner Minshew to try to win a debate of Jordan versus LeBron. It came to that. That's how far he had to reach and crawl for some other comparison. Yes, so.
I didn't do that, Skip,
Thank you very much. Let's go back to Tom Brady. All he did was go to 9, or he's not finished yet. He has gone to 9 Super Bowls and won 6 of them, and should have won the 2 more of those, but 9 and 6. And the point is that the 6 came all with game-winning fourth-quarter drives. We've never seen anything like what Tom Brady has done in any other sport, and it's actually even beyond Michael Jordan. And those game-winning drives came with some punctuation mark field goals at the end of those games, thanks to the greatest field goal kicker ever, Adam Vinatieri. I give you that. But he also had, Tom Brady had to complete 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 passes in a row to set up Vinatieri with the game-winning field goal. You don't just snap your fingers and say, oh, it's our ball, let's kick a field goal. No, he's got to make a bunch of clutch passes to even set up a field goal. I don't like the field goal rule. You know how I feel about it, but it is part of football, and Brady did capitalize on it a couple of times. And he also, in the first game against Eli, threw what would have been another game-winning fourth-quarter drive touchdown pass to Randy Moss that should have won the game with 2 minutes left, and Bill Belichick's defense choked again against Eli Manning. I'm sorry, they just did. I'll give Eli the second game. That's the one game where Brady had one little off-target misfire, and Wes Welker should have still caught that ball. And then all Brady did against Nick Foles, who had the greatest quarterback run I think I've ever seen for a 3-game set, at least a 2-game conference championship and Super Bowl, and you agreed with me. You'd never seen anything quite like that. He was on fire. Yeah. And Nick Foles puts up 41 points against Belichick's 41 points? Are you kidding me? Against the GOAT coach? And Tom Brady throws for an all-time playoff record 505 and puts up a record for a Super Bowl loser, 33 points, and they lost the game because Belichick gave up 41. Is that Brady's fault? Stop it. Now, let's go back to Michael Jordan.
It was Brady's fault. He didn't get the ball. Okay. Go ahead. I'm going to let you finish. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. All right. So Michael Jordan lost first to Boston Celtics teams. Those are Larry Bird teams. We're going to talk about Larry Bird here in a few minutes on the show. Larry Bird was obviously all-time great, and with Parrish and McHale and DJ and Ainge, that was one of the great teams in NBA history, one of the mentally toughest teams in NBA history. And it took Michael a while to grow up enough to get past the Celtics. Then he kept running into the bad boy Pistons for 3 straight years, and he won. They lost in 4 games, then 5 games, then 6 games. So he kept getting a little better, a little better, a little better. And he was up against what were called the Jordan Rules, because Sam Smith had to write a book about it called the Jordan Rules, because that's the only way the Pistons stopped Michael Jordan. Their whole game plan was, we've got to beat him up and basically knock him out of this game for us to control him, or at least contain him. And yet he finally broke through. Remember, those Piston teams went to 3 straight finals off beating Michael Jordan and won 2 out of the 3. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, that's pretty great. That's pretty hard to get past. But once he broke through, he went 6-0. And I'll give you the last couple of years in Washington were ugly. But remember, he took 3 years off. He quit on principle because his coach got fired, removed in place of Tim Floyd. And Phil Jackson went on to great things, as we well know. But Michael just said, I'm out. He took 3 years off and came back. He was out of shape. I'm canceling out those years. All I care about were the years I covered up through 1998 in Chicago. Sorry.
But Skip, Skip, but here's the thing. You keep saying Tom Brady had to complete those passes. What was the difference between Jim Kelly in the '90 Super Bowl completing passes and Scott Norwood missing that field goal and Tom Brady completing passes and Adam Vinatieri making it? Adam Vinatieri, there was nothing else he could do. Thank you. You make my point. So now it's up to Vinatieri.
No, I don't.
Vinatieri twice.
Okay.
Huh? Adam Vinatieri
I mean,
twice
I give you that point.
Saved his legacy. No. Okay. And Malcolm Butler. So 3 of those, you keep saying he should win 2 more, but he could have lost 3 more, Skip. He could legitimately he could have 5 losses out of those 9. He could be 5-4 instead of 6-3. I mean, 4-5 instead of 6-3 easily. You make it seem like he just blew these teams away and there was no doubt in anybody's mind. Stop that. But I just want to know why. You keep saying the Boston Celtics was an all-time great team. Were the 17?
They were. You don't think they were?
So, yeah, I do. But are you saying the Warriors with KD, Steph, Clay, and Draymond is not an all-time great team?
Okay, but remember, they weren't all-time great the first time they played LeBron. And I give you, LeBron had already lost Kevin Love, and he lost Kyrie in overtime. But then he had the greatest stretch of 3 games I've ever seen him play. He put the Cavaliers on his back, and even I'm sitting back in awe of what LeBron did in games 1, 2, and 3. He had a little help in game 2 from Delhi. The Delhi was open in game 2. But then as we got to game 4 in LeBron's house, they're up 2-1. You got to do that. If you're Michael Jeffrey Jordan, you got to take that game over and make it 3-1 because the Warriors didn't think they were that great. They didn't have KD yet. I'm sorry. That was another epic failure by LeBron James.
Let me ask you a question, Skip. Let's name the finals that Michael Jordan would have won if he'd have lost Scottie Pippen. Remember, he couldn't get out of the first round without Scottie, let alone win a series. So I just want to know, name the series that he would have won without his second and third best players playing with him. Name the finals he would have won.
Who knows? I don't know. He probably would have won all of them knowing him because, remember, in game 6 at Utah, go ahead.
Hold up. How are you going to say he's going to win a finals when he can't even get out the first round without Scottie? But he's going to win the finals without Scottie. Really?
Okay. After he broke through and started winning finals and he psychologically dominated the whole league, he owned the NBA. I wouldn't put it past him to win without Scottie. And to your point, game 6, NBA Finals, 1998 at Utah. I covered the whole series.
Yeah.
Scottie Pippen had the flu. Scottie Pippen was almost doubtful to go in that game. He tried to go. He was about half of himself in that game. And Jordan willed them into the game, holding on. Jordan was the one who went in and stole the ball from Karl Malone over in the corner, snaked it from him, dribbled the ball up the floor.
Yeah, because Dennis Rodman was occupying Karl Malone's attention, and Jordan snuck back after he followed Stockton through. He peeled back and took the ball. So don't make it seem like he just took the ball out of Mailman's hand.
Jordan led the league in steals 3 times. LeBron never led the league in steals. This is another attribute that just made him beyond great. It made him the GOAT. So he dribbles the ball up the floor, and flu-ridden Scottie Pippen is over on the wing. And I always tell you, this is the only piece of memorabilia I own. It's a picture of this from the far end zone. And Scottie's over on the wing like this, like, I'm open, give me the ball. And Michael's like, yeah, right. This is my game, my time, my turn, my shot. And Michael, little push-off on Byron Russell, just a little push-off. That's the way the game was played in those days. And he goes up with that mid-range jumper that I was oohing and awing about earlier in this show. He goes up and just hangs and holds the pose right there and rips it as clean as you can rip it like this. And I've got the picture from the far end zone of the horrified looks on all the Jazz fans' faces where they're all like, ah, he did it to us again. And Jordan in the picture, still shot, is holding the pose. The ball is ripping through the twine, clean as a whistle. and it's game over. Bulls win the championship.
Skip,
There was little to no Scottie Pippen in that game.
No. But here's my thing, is that when you look at it, and Jordan is an all-time great defender, but he couldn't guard 1 through 5 like LeBron could. You remember, Skip, in games 5, 6, because the previous 4 games, Tony Parker was going bonkers. Spoelstra said, LeBron, you got Parker. Not only do I want you to neutralize him, but I still need you to give us 30. That's what he was capable of doing. You do remember in that overtime, Tim Duncan had a layup and LeBron blocked it, had a dunk and LeBron blocked it. Since Skip, we've never seen anything like LeBron. Not only can he play 1 through 5, he could guard 1 through 5. Jordan couldn't do that because you remember in his first finals, Magic Johnson put a triple-double on him. And then Phil Jackson put Scottie Pippen on him to neutralize him and slow him down. Skip, you need to stop this. LeBron is the GOAT, and we'll win the title this year, too.
Timeout. I'm glad you brought that up. My final point is, I dare anybody to go back and watch the replay of the final minute of Game 6 of the 2013 Finals and see what Tony Parker does to LeBron James with under a minute to go. Tony Parker hits a 3 right in LeBron's grill. LeBron's got him man-to-man. Hits a 3, then comes, then comes right down the next possession and does a spin move down the lane and makes the shot right in LeBron's face. Go watch it. I dare you. I dare you.
That was on Mario Chalmers. That was on Mario Chalmers. Don't do that.
It was LeBron.
And, hold up, Skip. What was he shooting from the floor? He was 6 of 21. 6 of 21. Is that good?
All I know is he did that in the final minute, and I thought I had won the game. I thought my Spurs had won yet another championship. I thought LeBron had melted down yet another time in a big game in the finals. And all I know is that Michael Jordan was the mentally toughest, clutchest player I ever watched in any sport, in any one-game situation, and that LeBron James can often be, for all of his all-world talent, he can be mentally weak in big games, and I just detailed all of the above.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.